Hi, this is Mr. Knowles, and this is a lesson on classifying quadrilaterals. We've been learning about them in class, so I'm going to do a brief overview of what we learned and actually go over a worksheet that we did in class. If you'd like to redo the worksheet just for practice, you're more than welcome to. It is set C1 independent worksheet number 3, so I'm working off of that. Classifying quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral is any polygon that has 4 sides. There are many kinds of quadrilaterals. So let's look at first one here. Get my highlighter. Trapezoid. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. What parallel means is that they're running in the same direction and that they'll never intersect or cross. So I'm marking it in red. Those two lines are parallel, and this trapezoid only has one pair of parallel sides. Next thing is called a parallelogram. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides opposite of each other. So what they've done here is they put these little dashes here to symbolize that those two lines of the parallelogram are parallel, and that would be considered one pair. And then the other pair are the opposite sides here, and they represent that with two dashes, trying to give you a signal that those two sides are parallel and they're opposite of each other. Another unique thing we've been kind of discovering in class, not sure if this is true yet of all parallelograms, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we're learning about angle measure, and we're kind of discovering lately that these two angles are acute are also the same angle measure, and then the other ones on the opposite corners here and here we're discovering are obtuse, and they're also equal. Maybe that's true all the time. Maybe someone could do some research on that. Next thing's a rectangle. Kids are pretty familiar with rectangles. It's a special kind of parallelogram with 4 right angles. So that's a right angle, that's a right angle, that's a right angle, that's a right angle. All the corners are perfectly square, kind of like a window pane or a picture frame or a door, and it has 4 right angles. Now on to the rhombus. Rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. Basically what that means is all the sides are the same in length. So that's why they put these little lines here to represent all those sides are the same length. Kind of looks like, kids will call it a diamond, but the proper name's a rhombus, excuse me. And kind of like the parallelogram, you got this acute angle here, acute angle here. Looks like they're the same angle measure, and then you got an obtuse angle here and one across from it here, and that appears to be the same angle measure. I wonder if someone could do some research on that one. And last but not least, a square. It's a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. So it's a parallelogram, and it's also, it could be a rectangle too. We talked about that. And by definition, it looks like it fits the definition of a rhombus. So sometimes some things can be what other things are not, and vice versa with these things. So let's move on. So in this worksheet that you've done once before, but I'm giving you the opportunity to use it as practice, just to get more comfortable with these different quadrilaterals. So number 1, It says, look carefully at the figure below. Find out how many right angles, pairs of parallel sides, and pairs of congruent sides each has. Then circle all the words that describe the figure. Okay. Easy enough, I think. Well, the figure looks like a trapezoid to me. Why do I think that? Because this and this are parallel. Well, the first question doesn't really address that, but just knowing this going into it, that might help me. How many right angles does this thing have? It doesn't have any. How many pairs of congruent sides does it have? Congruent. Remember, that means the same. And it appears that this and this are congruent. So it has one set. How many pairs of parallel sides? Well, that parallel sides thing, that's what I already highlighted earlier. It has one. If I go back to the definition at the top of the page, and let me look at these real quick. Use blue this time. It's this one. It has exactly one pair of parallel sides. So it's going to be a trapezoid. See if I have time for a couple more here. Try to keep my mini lessons less than 10 minutes. All right, let's look at this thing, letter B. How many right angles? Well, it looks like it has 4. It looks like all the corners are right angles to me. So I'm going to say that it has 4. I'm guessing that you might agree with me at home. How many pairs of congruent sides? It appears to me that this is congruent with this, and this is congruent with this. So that would be two pairs of congruent sides. Next one, how many pairs of parallel sides? Okay. It appears to me that this is parallel to this, and this side is parallel to this side. So that would be 2 pairs. Okay, interesting. So this thing, by definition, could be considered a couple of choices here. It could be a parallelogram because it fits the definition. I go back, definition of a parallelogram. A quadrilateral with 2 pairs of parallel sides opposite of each other. It meets that definition. So we're going to call it a parallelogram. And it also meets the definition of a rectangle. If I go back to that. It's a parallelogram, which it is, with 4 right angles. It does have that. So I'm going to call it a rectangle as well. I want to have you do the rest on your own. So if you're following along at home, just try to do the best you can. If you're stuck, let me know, and I'll try to help you out. Okay? Good luck with that. Again, just keep practicing, and I think the more that you practice and you understand the terminology, the definitions, and the vocabulary in this geometry unit, the better off you're going to be, because a large part of it is really just the vocabulary and understanding what all those words mean. Take care. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. Good luck. Bye.